Alright folks, how you doing? Welcome back to Tribe of Judah. In this presentation, we're going into my second favorite David Icke book, Children of the Matrix, and this is the Christian Bloodlines. Disclaimer, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use. King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. The major players in the history of Christianity have been the reptilian bloodline. Among them were the Piso family, Herod the Great, Constantine the Great, King Ferdinand, and Queen Isabella, who launched the Spanish Inquisition, and King James, who sponsored the King James Bible. Joseph Smith and Brigham Young. So were Joseph Smith and Brigham Young, the founders of the Mormons, and Charles Taze Russell, one of the founders of the Jehovah's Witnesses. It was these very forces that created the Bible. Biblical texts. They brought together the texts of the Old Testament and the texts, or with the texts, they wrote to form the New. They translated it into Latin, English, and other languages. Even the original versions of the biblical texts continued to be changed. The philosopher Celsus. The philosopher Celsus wrote in the 3rd century, "You utter fables, and you do not even possess the art of making them seem likely. You have altered 3-4 times and oftener the text of your own Gospels in order to deny objections to you. Wisdom is a bad thing in life. Foolishness is to be preferred." They openly declared that none but the ignorant were fit disciples for the God they worshipped. Let no man that is learned come among us. The same source. It is a religion to hijack the minds of the masses. It is not the only myth religion that has been taken literally. So are all the rest, even Buddhism, which is claimed to be more enlightened, came from the same source and was sold as historical fact. Look at Buddha's background. The Spirit of God. He was born on December 25th to the Virgin Maya, with a star and wise men in tow. He was a royal bloodline, and the ruler was told to kill the child to avoid being overthrown. He taught in the temple at 12, was tempted by the evil Mara, and baptized in the presence of the Spirit of God. Resurrection to Nirvana. He performed miracles, healed the sick, and fed 500 people with cakes. He died, in some traditions, on a cross and was resurrected to Nirvana. His tomb was miraculously opened, and it was said he would return. Buddha was the light of the world, the good shepherd, and carpenter. So there we have it for the Christian bloodlines. I'm not quite sure why we detoured off to Buddhism at the end there, but I didn't write the book. And I've made my feelings about Buddhism very clear. I think it's a philosophy. I don't really consider it to be a religion. And I have heard, in fairness, that this theory has been debunked before, that, Jesus was modeled largely on Buddha, and they're all just the same thing. I don't know. I haven't personally looked into it, to tell you the truth. So Ike could be right there. He could be completely wrong, but I don't know. I'm just presenting what he wrote in Children of the Matrix, and sometimes we all get it wrong. I don't know if Jesus is largely modeled on Buddha, but the teachings of Jesus and Buddha seem to be fairly similar, in all fairness. I mean, who knows, there's a lot of wisdom in Buddhism. I just think it's been classified wrong. I just don't really consider it to be a religion. It's just my personal opinion. I think it's more of a philosophy and a way of life rather than what you could consider to be an organized religion. But, I respect what it says. Sometimes I think it's a bit obvious, though, to tell you the truth. I actually consider Christianity to be more complex because the parables of Jesus are not just outright stating things. He's making you think about what he's saying. So when it comes to comparing Jesus and Buddha, there are similarities, but I would have to give the gold medal to Jesus rather than Buddha, to tell you the truth, because I like that it's layered and it's nuanced, and you have to kind of dwell on what he's saying. It's not just explicitly stated. So But anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, leave your thoughts and comments down below.